depending on where you're listening, this might be the Aquarian animist or the paranormal mystic. I have Spotify, YouTube, the paranormal mystic that I just have not been able to post on. Be nice, Sam. She always gets so spazzy before bed. Anyway, I don't have a lot of me time, as you can see. And I'm more of a writer. I'm exceptional with the power of the word, but I tend to piss people off. And my words sound stronger than my intention, because I have a Libra stellium, so, I'm soft around the edges. Like, if I'm quiet, everyone loves me. I can be the poised, beautiful one in the corner that doesn't bother anyone. The moment my mouth starts yapping, my Aquarius Mercury-Mars conjunction pisses people off. Just every corner of humanity, because if you put yourself in a box, I call it a coffin-shaped box, my friends, and it is indeed the death of you. And because I challenge it, I piss people off. It is what it is. But I feel like when I speak, you can see that I come from a place that is calm and well thought out. It's not irrational or impulsive. And I want to be able to express with my voice so that you can hear what I mean. Oftentimes people cannot see your light because their shadow gets in the way. It doesn't matter what a beautiful prism you make with a light. If you gleam out of rainbows from within you, people cannot see it because of their own shadow. And it's the same with the written word. No matter how potent and powerful and beautiful it may be, people will read it in the context in which the mood they have chosen presents it. So they may misinterpret the words intentionally or unintentionally. Sam, quit destroying my bed. I am trying to record myself. I love you so much. My darling. I just don't think I can do like a professional podcast where, it sounds perfect, because I am indeed a nature lover. And I love my animals so. Hello, Sam, my girl. She's half Anatolian Shepherd, half Old English Sheepdog, and she is gorgeous. Because she has the color of the sheepdog, but she has like the shape of the Anatolian, except she has a wattle booty. So she doesn't have long hair or anything, but she's black and white. God, you're gorgeous, baby doll. She might be turning gray, I don't know. He's just silly willy. He's a silly willy. Yes, he is. She needs lots of loving, so the sheepdog in her, like, super needy. Like, give me loving all day long. Love you, baby. Okay, so it has already been almost 4 minutes and I hadn't even got into the topic, which is, I do feel like will piss some people off. I'd say Gnosticism is a bit of a niche group anyway at this point, but those who are kind of on that side would probably be irritated at the title, and it would go something like this. I haven't decided what it would be yet, but could Gnosticism be born of patriarchal privilege fueled by the disconnect and contempt for nature? And I say that because I feel as though Gnosticism is the opposite of shamanism, of a shamanic-led animistic society that values the connection to this, as they call, material plane, which I beg to disagree greatly. The material plane that torments us is the one that's made by men. And it's it's like, I feel like it comes from patriarchal privilege because it is viewed by those who cannot see nature because they're too busy looking at the man-made world around them, which is certainly imperfect. Sam, I know. She likes to keep doing this until we go to bed, turn the lights off, and then she's like, okay, it's bedtime. And I'm like, no, mommy would like some me time, darling. Please. Go away. Go, just get, no, mommy gets me time. I love you so much. You're such a stinker. Okay. You're so needy. You're so needy. I love you so much. I love you. God, she's so cute. I wish you could see her. She's doll. Okay. And I had written this down too, like when I was thinking, like in many ways, Hermeticism as well. It's kind of born of those who seek perfection in a domesticated, controlled environment. And they kind of have the tendency to make nature evil. Nature is like the scapegoat, when in reality, she is full of joy and sings and dances and is magical and magnificent. And it's not a simulation, but when men abuse her, leave her naked and torn, they hate her after they rape her. And again, these words are very strong words. I have been gifted with the power of words, and I know what I'm saying is so relevant. I don't want to say I'm perfect, you know? I got my goofy dog. She's gonna make it impossible to, oh my god, have a professional podcast because she has to go back and forth. You're very naughty. You just knocked the vacuum down. Naughty. Now she's probably gonna bark at it. Anything that's in a different spot than it was before freaks her out. Gaber. Would you? No, ma'am. I'm gonna put you in a crate if you don't stop. She doesn't have to sleep in a crate like our husky bear because she doesn't mark like he does. Let's see. Where am I at? Okay, so what I kind of wanted to do is, I don't know. I sort of wanted to go over some, let's see. I don't know if I want to go over that yet or not. I so want to, but I also don't. Looking at my notes, I have so much written down. This is ridiculous. This is going to be impossible. Probably won't even put this up because it's so haphazard, it seems. And yet, like I said, I don't want to seem repulsive, but my god. I knew she told you she would bark at it. I'm just going to push pause. See if I can calm her down. Okay, I put her in her crate. She ran to it. I told her to go take a nap, and like she opened the door with her nose. Like it wasn't locked, but it was just so cute. And I love her so much. So yeah, as much of an animal person as I am, it's not easy to have any time, quiet time. It's like having a mom of a bunch of our babies. Okay, let's see. Sorry if I pause here and there. One day, maybe I'll have an editor or be able to put in stupid music and cut up gaps, but okay, so you know how the Gnostic view is like Sophia fell, and I guess I should put in a disclaimer because I know that there's a wide variety of Gnostic views, and I'm not trying to put them all in one box. So if I'm referring to something, understand that this is a general way people have written that Gnostics view things. Okay? So don't take it so personal if you like, I don't know. I've heard that, you know, Gnostics can be a bit nasty too, but whatever, because anytime you have a dogma that makes you like cruel to others, that's a you problem. And I will say that, you know, I probably quite often will kind of refer to Hermeticism and what would you call it? I don't know, I guess, any of those types of groups as kind of being wrong, right? And whenever I have seen, let's say, Freemason people out, that I go by energy for the most part, and that by the fruit. Well, most of the time, the energy of Freemasons are congested, grumpy, nasty, low vibrational, and a bit grating, like sandpaper. And the wives of them oftentimes seem exceptionally depressed and very low in their energy, like they've been sucked dry and drained, and they don't seem to have any joy. And so if you were to know them by their fruit, the fruit's pretty sour and dry. Like when you get a fig and you want it to be juicy and there's nothing in there, it has no flavor, and it's like, disappointing, right? But I will also say that I come from a Freemason family, and I have a few vivid memories that make me wonder if I wasn't one of those that were abused and then it was covered up. But all the bloodlines of my family come from them. I have 33rd degree Masons in my bloodline whose aprons were in libraries until they were burnt down. And, I would say my parents are not, and my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, wasn't, but because his father was, he kind of was agnostic, and he didn't really go there. And I think it kind of fucked his mind up, coming from both his mother and father came very strong Freemason families. And I think, like, my grandmother's wedding ring was like reshaped from one of his dad's Freemason rings. So it's an integral part of my family very far back. And so if you hear me talk a lot of negative about these groups, understand that it is because of the energy that they give off. But I will put in a little bit of a positive in the sense of there are some people born of Freemason and Hermetic type families, and me included, and my grandfather most definitely, that carry a nature of curiosity, a desire and a thirst for knowledge. And it doesn't come from a wanting to control or have power the way, like, say, someone like my father, who's very arrogant and always in a mood. But my grandfather and I have like an innocent curiosity, like we just love to learn. And he was a Gemini, and so is my son, and my son, they both hack, and I'm like, is that a Gemini thing? They hack all the time. But it's so weird. And they both have such heads of curly hair. But he was such, I guess in today's terms would probably be considered Asperger's, high functioning, autistic. So would I. And I know those terms are considered whatever. Everyone's offended by everything. I cannot spend all day long with disclaimers, right? I just remember reading his animal encyclopedias and his National Geographics, and I wasn't as into his popular science or mechanics, but he could name every car, every bird, every plant, every tree. And he was a veterinarian, and he was which his father's very disappointed in, because his father wanted him to be a lawyer, a doctor, or something more important. Veterinarian was beneath them. They were kind of aristocratic, right? But he didn't want to live in the city like his father. He wanted to live in the country. He wanted to have cows and a farm, and he did what he wanted to do, and he was good at it. And he brought that, as a child, I was diving into these books when other kids are reading highlights. And so I think there is a positive level to that desire for knowledge. So I don't want to sit here and diss it completely. If you're approaching it from a Hermetic standpoint, Gnostic, or Freemason, whatever and you have an innocence to you, and you have a desire for knowledge, but it comes from a good place. Like curiosity and courage are two vital necessities that we need to enjoy life. But I am approaching the, what would you call it, the hypocrisy and the twisted aspects, because I do feel like this is the season for the divine feminine to have a voice. And I do feel like the patriarchal way of doing things has been absolutely devastating to the human race and the entire planet. I mean, if you go to so many places in my country, wherever there was a battle and people were killed and it was taken over, there's giant Freemason symbols. Like, they boast over the places that they've taken. The Alamo, the San Jacinto Monument, like, I've seen these firsthand, and um, it makes you feel dirty that this is what you come from, as people who brag about killing and destroying to take. And I just feel so much that they don't know how destructive they are. Maybe they do. Maybe some of the most evil ones do. Um, but there's something that I had thought about that I wanted to express, which was like, the true temple, like us, our bodies and our souls, everything about us. We need a heart of flesh, not stone. Masonry can't build this. I feel as though that is what gets in the way of seeing how beautiful nature is the masonry. It's the man-made structures, and it needs to be removed. And we do need to have a lot of destruction to remove the false foundations that have been built. Let's see, where am I at? Okay. So, oh my god, I can hear her fussing in there. Sammy, you take a nap. Great. If she start now Moose is gonna start howling. Can you tell I named my dogs after Supernatural? Jared Padalecki's so cute. So, like, we got Moose, and then our girl is Sam. Sammy. That's bad. I know. He's so naughty. But they're so darling together because they're both like black and white. Okay. Let's see. I want to. Okay, so I had written like the Gnostic view. They kind of had this thing. You see how long I can go into rabbit holes. I call myself like the queen of rabbit holes. Sophia fell into material world. She's imperfect. Let's see. This kind of sound like patriarchal misogyny, doesn't it? Like, because she's like had a virgin birth, her husband or daddy didn't approve, so she gave birth to Demiurge, who's super evil in the material plane. And I'm like, this sounds like stuff that was spoon-fed. like the way the Fox News spoon feeds people. Like, I don't know, like how they'll just believe something random that's it's like, why would you believe this? It was just spoon fed into you that she fell because she was naughty and didn't want to put out for her husband. She didn't ask daddy's approval to make a baby. Like, wow, could you, like, it sounds, first off, it really does. It's like in today's world where you have a little bit of enlightenment, it sounds, well, fucking rude, right? I mean, it really does. It's like, excuse me? Excuse me? You're talking about my mama here, and them fighting words, right? I mean, fighting words. Let's see. Okay. So, I do feel that I have been at odds with the kind of New Age movement, the Law of Attraction movement, and Hermetic groups for some time, because I have obviously I'm a spiritual person and don't fit in the religious crowd. So I seek information and relationship. I look for, kind of somewhere I would belong, like say my tribe, right? But then when I hear a lot of these people speak, the amount of like the need to control their surroundings, it's like, I don't know, they want to manifest their desires and they say your thoughts dictate your future. And I'm like, as a natural seer or psychic or witch or whatever you want to call it, I was kind of chosen by shamanism. It chose me, I didn't choose it. But I have learned throughout my life to observe and to feel things out. And I feel like it's more beneficial than control. Controlling can be so exhausting. And I've seen the future many times. And when it comes to pass, it is negative quite oftentimes because with my placements, I have Pluto 12th house, and my ascendant Scorpio. And you put those two together, and I'm going to have quite a bit of negative going on, and it's conjunct my Neptune, and so I have a lot of psychic abilities, but I'm going to be picking up on a lot of the shadow side. And so I'm going to be at odds, which is what you need for shamanism, to be honest. When you pick up on these things that are not fluffy and rainbows, and let's be super positive, let's control everything, let's manifest our Mercedes and our mansion. And if I don't want to do that, I'm the problem, apparently. But to be a genuine psychic and a seer, you let go of judgment and you observe and you watch and you don't make moves or try to control as much as you understand a huge portion of becoming, of being human, is to learn, is to stop and to let things play out. Learn the energy currents, learn the wind, and learn where to put up your sails and when to pull them down. Don't just stomp around and try to get your way, right? And I know that that's so many times I feel like animism and shamanism is at odds with much of the New Age community because we want to be in alignment with nature, not control it. And I see a lot of times when I've seen the future, it's like, would they say I created it? Because I had dreams of 9/11 before it happened, of Katrina before it happened, or, tsunamis as they're happening. I'm dreaming about it and seeing the spirit that's doing it. Like, I'm not creating negative. I'm just seeing. I'm going to push pause again. My dogs are absolutely psycho. Okay, so have fun with that. It's great. Crazy dogs. Oh, all right. So I was talking about how I didn't create the situations that I saw. Let's see, if I'm too busy trying to create and control my reality, I cannot see what's actually happening, and I cannot understand what's going on. You have to be able to have understanding, and in order to do that, you have to just stop trying to make things happen and learn how to surrender. Now, surrendering and submitting, in a way, is a strength of the feminine. It can be a weakness as well. Did want to say, well, it came in my mind while I was refreshing my tea, is I really do feel like I am doing this because, and I say this to myself whenever I feel the energies that don't want me to do this, but it is time. The watchers are becoming the watched. The oppressors are becoming the oppressed. The rulers are becoming the ruled. The destroyers are being destroyed. And it is time. Let's see. Yeah, I did want to mention this too. Is our logic is probably the most unevolved reptilian-like part of us, okay? It's not our highest gift. Our intuition and our instincts are. Intuition can be somewhat selfish because it is to preserve self. Intuition has the empathy to consider the whole. And you can't have either one of those when you're busy using logic. Because your instincts will tell you to run or to fight, when your logic wants to justify staying with someone or something that is very bad for you. And your intuition will tell you that this leader, this group, this religion, this political movement is wrong. But you've been convinced through logic by your parents, by your peers, that this is right. Without intuition, you are a complete tool. And if you're busy trying to control your environment, trying to manifest, trying to follow all the universal laws, and trying to put the great creator and architect under a microscope and dissect him in order to get what you want, you're not going to see what is. And the great creator just is. I am who just is and who just was. I am too, so are you. But you can't see it. And you're busy trying to recreate it. And most of what men do is just take, they love to say this about evil, and it's like, oh, well, evil takes what's not theirs and tries to recreate and make things with it, not any good at it. But that's exactly what humans are doing right now. And it is odd that it is cultures where men have become so-called advanced that have the most disconnect and contempt for nature. In it, you can find cultures that they think are primitive and they think have very little wisdom or very little knowledge of anything. Say there's some in the Amazon rainforest or something, and they see them as dumb, but these people know everything about that forest, both in the physical and the spiritual planes. They can go around barefoot, and they are not afraid of all of the insects and the snakes and the poisonous plants, that nothing is unknown to them. They understand every single aspect of that forest. That is a massive amount of knowledge. If we were to just throw one of us out there, you wouldn't be able to make it. When people go down there to hang out with them, to visit them, to learn from them, they freak out. They want to get out the DEET, and they want to get out the bug masks, and they can't handle it. Okay? They have no idea how to live in nature. And when you live with nature, you have this connection that makes you so free, that makes you so present, that you're overfilled, you're overflowing. There's no lack of fullness. They say Sophia is until she finds her fullness again and learns her lesson, that's all in the man-made world. If you're in with nature, there's no way you can't be full. Let's see. I want to see what some of my notes were saying. Yeah, I'd written the Gnostic version as buying your stairway to heaven, because the feminine fell from grace, and my view is more we are becoming, we're blooming, and we're awakening, and this is intended. And despite many who don't want us to do this, they want us to stay in a sleeping curse to feed on our energy, as the great creator is within us. So we are an energy source. And so there's some, aspects that obviously we can be in agreement on. But I don't think that gnosis or anything is the answer. It's chillicity. And chillicity, is a term that you will hear in some shamanic groups. I forget his name. I don't do names as much as faces. But it was the Woven Energy podcast where he talked about, he used the term chillicity to represent what shamanism, the basis in shamanism of what you do is like a chalice, and you empty yourself and you let nature fill you. And it's so weird because and I'm not saying that this is wrong. I'm just saying that it's not the final step, okay? Not the chillicity part, but like say the going within, and this is not just a Gnostic thing. This is like many cultures. I want to say what is it, like Buddhism and Hinduism and so many cultures have, mostly cultures that have dominated the landscape in man-made ways and have men of privilege who write the books, okay? Like I love the Bhagavad Gita is great, but it's still written by someone that had enough privilege to be able to write it, and so the viewpoint's going to be a drop skewed. But it's all like going within. You find your creator within, and like you can't ever be fully alive or healed if you don't. And I actually do agree. Christ said the kingdom is within us. It's so important and vital that we learn to do that. That we learn to meditate, that we learn to go within, that we learn to find the true self, that we learn to connect to the great I am in that way. But the problem is if you stay there, okay, it's like you become full and you become stagnant and you become constipated and you almost become like this fattened calf that evil is just dying to dine upon because you're not flowing. Okay. It's like, if you're going within and that's all that you do, I mean, it's like, say an example is like the Illuminati, right? And people say Illuminati is because of illuminating knowledge or something. But I think it's more like illusion. And any time that you go in within too much, although the kingdom is there, so is the vast realm of nothingness that you create, any madness that you want. Many religions and many dogmas and points of views and insanities have come from people going within. And what they don't want to admit is going within is not just going to be your creator. It's going to be full of trickster spirits. You don't realize you're going into other realms that are limitless when you go within. You're not just meeting yourself and your maker in this isolation. Your children playing with something you do not know or understand. Shamans understand this. They know they travel the realms and the worlds, and they know there's many tricksters out there. But people don't. They're stupid. And they go within and they channel these things like Theo and what was that one? Bashar. They channel Michael. This is why David Wilcock went mad and said he pees in a bathtub because Archangel Michael told him to. Because his DNA is in his urine and it helps him communicate. And I'm sorry, but I just could not take him seriously after he said that. He's still posting this random stuff and he does lives and he's constantly peddling for money, like asking for donations and rambling and mostly incoherent. And I'm like, he must have gotten fried at some ayahuasca or something. I don't know. But I was thinking, it could be that he was so onto something that them damn aliens down in the Dulce basement pushing those buttons, making him go crazy, like sending in those voice of God things and like being like, pee in a bathtub. No, everyone thinks you're dumb as shit. And they're like laughing, right? So wrong. I feel really bad like picking on him, but come on. Pissing in a bathtub so Michael can talk to you better. Because there's DNA in your urine. I mean, it's not like you're sloughing off DNA 24/7. So it made no sense that he actually believed that. I was like, maybe it's a joke. He did not like it was a joke. It was so gross. Like he was bathing in his urine. Okay. But I think, okay, if there's really aliens down in Dulce, and I don't want to get Phil Schneidered, okay? I mean, you got Greer out there telling people you can talk to aliens with an app, which is creepy as shit because, they're like the Fae, vampires. If you invite them, they will come. And they're not what you think. It's so creepy. It's like he worked for them, But I actually think the Schneider thing legit happened. I mean, at least that they Schneidered him, suicided him. But I don't know. I don't remember the name of it. I tried to save the tab, but it went inactive. Of some kind of electro something where they say they can like push these buttons basically and like make you itchy or think random bad thoughts and things. And I could believe it, but I also know that trickster spirits do this stuff too. And so, like, if you ever notice if you go listen to these people, it's like, I'm channeling Bashar and Theo and Michael, like, Abraham Hicks, if you listen to them, like, they will regurgitate sometimes very repetitive things. They talk in kind of circles. And it's because spirits are feeding off of them. Like, the person just wants to be known and seen and, worshipped in a way. And they gather all this energy from these people and they just kind of like babble, okay? And as they're babbling, the spirit's feeding off of them because these spirits are not connected to the light, so they need us to be fed on, which they feed on. And I do think there's like a danger to going within all the time. It's great to connect, but you can go mad. This is how people have convinced themselves to go shoot up schools or to do other really horrific things because they're going within, but what they're finding is not just their maker, because we're all one. And evil know this. The Rockefellers wrote about it. It's like we're all one. And I don't agree with the Gita in the sense of like, because we're all one, we should be peace and love and like, not judge any man or anything. For the most part, yeah, because you want to look at people as people because you know that we're connected and we're one. But there is also genuine evil. And it is disconnected from the vine. It is cut off. It has chosen to die off and has no soul and no life in it. It's like even though there's a soul, it's like there's not. I don't know what you would call it, but it's like they won't last forever, and they know it because once we become aware enough not to let them feed off of us, they will just cease to exist. And I feel like if people, because I feel like all of us, we all have the pieces, right? All of us have pieces, Gnostics and Hinduism and Christianity, and so many of us have amazing pieces, but we only know in part. And I feel like chillicity is what it's like when nature fills you up. There's like deeper, more. I want to say like primal. I hate using that term because people see it as not evolved, but it's like there's something inside of us that our brain, our logic is not advanced enough to understand. Okay, but the soul does. And that connection is so overflowing that when nature fills you, you become like this, the Holy Grail, the chalice. You're overflowing with joy. It's so filling that you feel like you need nothing. I've never been able to get that from man-made society, only from nature. And I challenge people who see nature and the material plane as all evil to understand the dance, understand the marriage that's happening. It's like it's happening all the time. Now let's see. Sorry, I just wanted to peek at my notes. And I know it would probably sound awful with me sipping on my tea, but I am always thirsty. I'm out of cough drops. Nature, I was looking at my notes. Yeah, a lot of it is also letting nature love you. Like, there's something when you get filled with nature that's like, it's just love. You can feel the love. It's so beautiful and it's so peaceful. It's funny because I ended up where my notes were kind of at. Like, I hadn't looked down in a minute, but it's like this divine marriage. Most of us are too busy in the man-made patriarchal society to notice it. It's why Gnostics couldn't see it. The masonry got in the way. They see nature as imperfect, but we're never actually in it. And the Creator sacrificed a part of himself to release a sacred plan. You hear the stories of Odin and Jesus and many other stories where it's like a personification or part of the Creator was sacrificed. And I do think that that's what happened. It's not someone fell from grace to create the material plane. It's that the great Creator loves us so much that he wants to have an equal. He wants to have what he cannot have, but he can. But we have to be aware of it. The part of him that he cut off from his own control is exceptionally painful. The sacrifice he made is beyond what most can understand. If I could give you just one example, it would be Christ, say, when he's crying in the garden and he's sweating blood, and people wonder why it was that painful for him. If he actually looks at what happens to us because he gave up control in order to have it come back to him full circle with love, he had to feel both the child that is being raped and the perverted evil of the rapist enjoying it. And he had to let it go, knowing that he had to let his energy go as free energy for all. And it's being abused every day is the most painful thing he could ever go through. But he had to in order to have his bride, to have his basically like his wife being born. Out of time, out of space, long before we were even here, this was always the plan. He always knew how things would play out. He knew how he would choose to abuse and mistreat this gift. But it's not going to heal with us focusing on everything bad that has happened as much as we focus on becoming. And I feel like some of our religions, including Gnosticism, can prevent us from that because we're busy wanting to escape. Nature is never good enough, but it's right here, right now. This material plane is the product of the release of himself. And it's so much love. But it's also been deeply abused and mistreated. Now, yes, we can choose to try to manifest in things, but what are we choosing it for? Is it for love and through love that we're trying to create, not building with ego? Therefore, we cannot create through love. I don't think that Sophia is flawed or fallen. Solomon never had her. Sophia's wisdom, only man-made knowledge is what he had. It left him empty. And to be honest, having casual sex with countless people will do that to you, as will lust for power. People calling him the wisest man is, it's an insult to wisdom and nature. What they call the demiurge, that dark energy, is in fact their creation. The God who demands guilt and shame, submission and worship. They gave it power by condemning the feminine as the scapegoat. You will never be good enough to deserve fullness, says the evil one. You can have fullness right here and right now, says the shaman. There's a reason our rulers have sought out and massacred any culture that gave matriarchs any say, that had shamans and healers and seers, condemned the witches, and not the Solomons or the Moseses who wielded dark magic. They need you to be blind to continue to destroy nature. The dance of Father Creator and Mother Earth is here, and you can choose to celebrate with them or let the birds eat your flesh. Too many will suffer because of their hearts of stone. I do believe the cruelty of man will bring out the ferocious mother, the bear spirit in Mother Earth. In her anger and rage, she very likely will give birth to the reckoning, one who will understand her pain and suffering and will not hesitate to cleanse the earth of the stain that is man. This should not be. If men follow the Creator's path, His will, they would see change in nature. It's slow. It's hidden like the babe in the womb, the roots of the trees, not something you can see. No big grand finale as evil wants, fireworks at his funeral. No, it's like gradual erosion. This is the way of nature, except when she holds in enough, and she's done. Like a volcano erupting, so will vindication. Like, what is it? Who was once the lamb is going to be the one who reaps with robe stained in blood. I'm almost certain that there's going to be an aspect of both mother and father that will reap, because too many have chosen the path of worshiping the stone and not the heart. And see, as I listen to whorendom, hell, I know, is waiting for me. And I watch a mother raccoon steal cat food outside. My playful cats inside in a window, play fighting, and my massive Anatolian Old English mix barreling through the house. My older cat wiggling his booty to pounce on stuffing that my dog had ripped out of a toy. I'm full. Love is fullness with nature. As I listen to Harpin's craft while admiring the vibrant purple of my dried creeping Charlie amidst my mugwort and cardamom and other herbs. In my evening tea, I feel alive and I feel full. There's so much fullness here. Heaven is here now. It's right here. But you have to be filled with it. Learning to let yourself be open to felicity and nature. It's a kind of joy that's so overflowing. It's like ecstasy even. You cannot get it through works or ideals or ideologies of man. They cannot see Sophia. It was always their shadow in the way. The masonry got in the way. And I know that this is like irritating to some, but I feel like shamanism and the rise of feminism is the answer. And I know a lot of, what are they calling it these days? Red-pilled men disagree with that. And I mean, it's understandable because, there used to be a phrase of, oh, well, she has to say she's a lady. She ain't no lady. Well, you have a lot of men right now touting that they're alpha males, but if they were, they wouldn't have to say it. And they wouldn't have to beat women down in order to feel powerful. Powerful men build women up. They build the matriarchs up. They learn to listen. Just because our voices are softer, we don't have the physical strength to strangle you, doesn't mean that we aren't more powerful than you in the spiritual realms. But the great Creator gives more sway to the innocent, to the weak, to the meek, to the contrite in spirit, the broken, the little ones, the ones that have no voice. Just because men have gotten away with being loud and controlling and domineering and stomping around to get their way, doesn't mean they'll always get it. Creator's just testing the hearts of men, and He's found them wanting. On the scales, they will never be pleased. Not the ones that cannot learn to listen to the feminine as well. I have heard a few indigenous men speak on the importance of women and how Western culture has taken that away, and how much more alive they feel when they learn to listen to them. I don't think the answer is to completely destroy patriarchy. I don't think the answer is to completely destroy, Gnosticism or Hermeticism or any of our old religions. I think the answer is learning genuine balance. It's not the balance of dark and light. I hate it when crooked, evil people try to do that. It's like, oh, we did all this evil over here, so let's go do some good over here. Let's balance it out. It's like, it doesn't work like that, honey. Like, I'm sorry, you have to actually be. You have to become. You cannot manipulate it. You cannot try to adjust the scales or anything. You have to learn to listen to the ones that you have tried to silence and duct tape our mouth shut. So it's a long road for us. And part of me feels like the Great Spirit, Mother Earth herself, our ancestors, all of nature is getting fed up with humans. And we're going to be snuffed out if we cannot learn how to heal. And I know I had mentioned this before, I think, in some of my paranormal, mystic, like videos or podcasts, what have you, of the dreams I've had where I see these angels or beings and you don't know really what they are. But in one dream, they were discussing giving us the knowledge of the atomic bomb when they were ready for us to self-destruct, when they had gotten enough from the earth, when they had mined enough of our resources, whenever they thought they were ready for us to basically kill ourselves, they gave us this knowledge, okay? And I remember in the dream, it might have been in the 1700s, and they were discussing it. They're like, no, not yet. Like, they were literally planning it out. And I was in a ballroom, and then in a bedroom above the ballroom, and I had dreamt all of this, and they were speaking with unto me like English in the dream. But then when I woke up, or I didn't wake up, it was kind of like you wake up in astral, where it's like you're there, but you're not. It was so strange because I woke up, my soul did, my body wasn't awake yet, and it's like they were still in the hallway speaking, but they sounded like they were speaking German, and I couldn't understand them. And I realized I was in my room, and they were like, it was like I had half woken up. And then I had another dream a couple years ago. That dream I had like decades ago. And I had a dream a few years ago that they were on the side of a highway that we drive a lot, going to hot springs, and they were discussing that they needed to hurry because they've gotten enough from this planet, and they were ready to destroy her. They don't want to leave us here. Like, these things don't want us to survive. They want to completely destroy this planet. And it's very aggravating to me that these things use the planet. Multiple times I've had dreams where they're asking me to go with them to leave this place, and it infuriates me because I know they have used her. And I do think that there are beings that are alive because of us. They feed off of us. Some of her resources are us. It's our energy. And these things, you hear so many of these kind of niche groups talking about like aliens, beings, what have you, that can live hundreds of years or more, or practically immortal. And I think a lot of it is because they feed off of us. To be honest, I don't think they're good. And I think even if they seem like they're at a higher vibration, people think that they are of the light, and I don't think that they are. And this, like what I'm saying here, there's plenty of like Gnostic groups that can agree with half of what I say, can agree on this part. A lot of groups think that there's, a lot of other planets out there, what have you, and I'm not saying that any of that's not true. It's just, if there's one thing I've learned from, I don't know if you could call it shamanic journeys or what have you, because I don't do the neo white privilege shaman shit, where you go to ayahuasca and you go to all these retreats and you go to juice fasting events. Like, I've learned the hard knocks of being isolated and in the womb of time with my mother alone. And in these moments, like, I know a lot of these things are like, they have controlled us for so long. And I think the point I wanted to get at was time. You know how they say time is an illusion, it's not linear, we have all of these things. Well, I feel like really it's like here and now and the past and the future and parallel energies and everything are all at once. Like, even if other planets were created tens of thousands or millions of years ago and more will be created in the future, what have you, it's still all happening like simultaneously, like right here. Like, there's a part of time that is not time. Like, um, we see time as linear, but I think it's almost more like there's a center to it and it branches out. And we just don't really understand that. And I know, like, sometimes they show like the spiral, like they've shown that theory before, like with the Mayan calendar or what have you, which is an interesting take. And I think a great way for them to like jump through time or what have you. But I still feel like there's like this, I think there's multiple facets to time, even. Like, there is linear and there is the center and there is the spiral. Like, it can all be simultaneous. Um, so I don't get too hung up on that, like, Tiamat and everything else. Like, I love learning about it all, but I'm not going to get hung up on that when it comes to the wisdom that I learned from being centered in the here and now with my maker within me and with nature without me. And no matter what these things say, no matter what the ruling class does, no matter what the powers and principalities say and do to us, and I know some of these things I won't be saying this, but I also know that I was meant to be a teacher. And I have so much to teach from the womb that I have spent time in alone, and how to get through this. Where everyone else is freaking out and they think it's doom and gloom to have a collapse. And I'm thinking, like, many of us came here for this and we know it. We're not afraid of it. Sure as hell miss AC, though, if something like that goes out, right? Um, I know some people don't dated a European and he didn't use those. And I was like, dude, you're in the dirty South. Come on. So, I think I was going to wrap everything up, but I felt like there was something else I wanted to say. Like, I felt it, little, radar in your head where it's like, right here. I don't know. I guess it was like, oh, I think I know. I was thinking about the facets and the diamonds, and I wanted to explain that too with the facets and how we see things. Like, truth is not subjective, but our perception is. And we all look at it from different facets. But what I really wanted to get at was like the parallel lives. I think I want to do a show or an article on that. Like, not parallel lives isn't like having another life here. That can be a different topic. But like, if you go to a place that seems so negative, it's also so holy and blessed too. It's like strange how you can have people will say like frequencies, right? You have so much evil and negative dead set against you, trying to drag you down, but you can also have the most vibrant light and love and healing in the same room. And I've just learned from going to extremely haunted places. That's one reason why I had the paranormal show, is because not enough people focus on it. I want to wake people up and make them aware. I would have used the word supernatural, but then the TV show, everyone think it's that. So the supernatural, the paranormal, the unexplained things, okay, it's been a integral part of my life. I've had crazy experiences my whole life. And like I've said in my previous shows, thankfully, witnesses many times so people don't think I'm crazy. It's like I attract weird ass shit. But I feel like ignoring it is detrimental. The amount of people that have seen werewolves, dogmen, hellhounds, whatever you want to call it, the amount of people that have seen Bigfoot and UFOs and aliens and had ghost experiences and had crazy astral experiences, and on and on and on. Ignoring that, and the fact that our government pretends that it's not there and they act like this stuff isn't happening, is insane. Stupid. Because it is going to be a part of our change. I do think that a lot of things that go bump in the night will be coming out. They're fed up. I think some of them may have been born from dark things, but they also have learned they have autonomy here and they will do as they please. And some of them are very fed up with the ruling class and are going to be hunting them down. They're going to be pissing and shitting in their pants. And I also think that ignoring the many realms and diversity of like communication that we have, like, the whole idea, I forget what it is, but someone had said this, all the same thing, the UFOs and aliens and ghosts and fae, they're all the same thing, and some interdimensional beings that fuck with us and feed off of us, what have you. And I agree and disagree. I don't think we entirely know. It's above our pay grade. But I do kind of think the fae alien thing is supernatural episode on that kind of like really fucked it up. But I do think I do think they do morph into what they think people will believe. I genuinely do. But I also think there are still genuine ghost experiences and hauntings that doesn't have anything to do with them. They can do it too. Trickster spirits will do anything. But that's why you have to learn your intuition and your instincts. Discernment of spirits is a gift of the Holy Spirit, according to the Christian Bible. And they don't know how to use it for crap, right? It's because you have to have the fruits of the Spirit first, which most of them do not. And you have to be able to sense these things. Again, it takes a bit of shamanism. And Jesus was an animist through and through. He told them flat out, the blood and the flesh, the bread, the wine. I mean, he was trying to remind people that everything we do is the creator. To never forget that. Everything was created by the word, through the word, and for the word, by love, through love, for love. And so every time you take a sip of your tea, of your drink, of your wine, every time you eat a piece of bread, every time you love on your dog, everything is the creator. We're not in some inferior material world. This is him. He didn't make a mistake when he made us. But he also had to sacrifice a part of himself to let us be free, to make our choice, to be with him or not, to choose love or not. And we are so missing out. Like every time I stop and focus on it, I feel heaven right here, right now. The only thing that keeps me miserable, that keeps me sick, why I take medications, why I'm chronically in pain, is everything man-made. Gotta go to bed so I can get up at the right time, to be at work at the right time, to pay my bills at the right time, make sure to do this at this time. It's like Kronos is created by men and they're fucking crazy. Everything that man has done in this conformed domestic world is horrifying. I am an alien to it. I don't understand it and I don't fit in it. I want to be with nature. Or on the rainy, misty days, that's a slow day like all nature. Dripping would do. We're meant to be at peace. Be slow, be still. Enjoy her presence. And we cannot do it because men have forced us into servitude and slavery, and somehow they have convinced people that it's freedom. It makes me sick. The 4th of July is a fucking joke. Because everything they fought for freedom from is what we have now. Pay high rent, can't own land, pay their lords and ladies, dukes and the duchess, and it's just now it's corporations and greed and taxes, and you're not free. Now within, in this moment, when you choose to see heaven, you are free. But for us to be free all the time, we do have to destroy this society. We do. We have to break it down. We cannot have it. Perhaps there can be balance. I think there should be. I think that there will be. But it obviously is only one possible solution to the future, but the solution for peace would be balance. To have maybe some large cities where the advancement of men can thrive, but they need to allow enough of nature to bloom. And they aren't doing that. They're not allowing those of us who choose to be in alignment with nature and live with nature and not with the man-made society the option to do so. That is tyranny. That is the opposite of love and freedom. And you cannot thrive, you cannot become, you cannot bloom, and you cannot be free with our mother. And she will be fed up. Promise you. That's why I'm here. It's not me. It's my ancestors, my mother, my father. Destroy every bit, brick and stone that you've made. If you cannot choose to do what is right. And there's many evil forces right now who want to destroy the planet entirely. Give the creator one reason why he should stop them. I dare you. I don't know, I guess that's all I have for now.